Welcome back, as we now move on to the procedures involved in assembling our alternator. Assembly normally commences at the drive end, where the rotor is supported in the work vise, again using soft jaws. The drive end bracket is hand pressed onto the rotor shaft. On this unit, a spacer is fitted against the bearing. Be sure to fit this spacer in such a way that the raised section is placed onto the bearing. Now the key is fitted and the rest of the drive end components installed in the sequence demonstrated. The retaining nut must be tightened securely. Some manufacturers may specify a torque value for this. Now we come to the assembling of the main housing, which begins by replacing and securing the rectifier pack into its original position. Once this has been done, the stator is repositioned, taking care to realign the frame to the assembly marks. The stator's 3 leads now must be reconnected by careful soldering onto the diode bridges. With the drive end bracket and rotor supported in the vise, we next clean the slip rings using fine grit water paper, not sandpaper, which will remove minor imperfections and to create an electrically sound brush connection. The main housing is now carefully replaced, as demonstrated, to realign to our original alignment marks. You will also be able to feel when the bearing has entered its support at this time. The 4 through bolts are now fitted and threaded by hand into their respective threaded holes. It is important that these through bolts are tightened evenly to prevent the binding of the rotor upon the stator cores. The rotor shaft must spin freely once all the through bolts have been firmly secured. The final item to replace is the brush holder and regulator assembly. This must be done carefully, making sure that the brushes aren't damaged and that they seat against the slip rings. You will have to hold the unit against brush spring pressure whilst the retainer screws are aligned and secured. The assembly is now complete. All that remains to do is to check the alternator's performance. This can be done on the vehicle as outlined in Tech AV program AET2. Where facilities exist, testing can be made very conclusively using a test bench. On the test bench, the alternator is subjected to controlled conditions such as rotor speed and electrical loads. Once the rotor field has been activated, the alternator speed is increased by the test bench motor until the output light goes out. As rotor speed is being increased to approximately 3,000 engine revs, the voltage must remain constant. Load is now applied to the unit and the ammeter is noted. As we increase the load, the alternator will be forced to deliver greater current until a point is reached where the alternator's rated output is achieved. When the alternator can achieve this output, we are assured that our overhaul has been performed successfully. This concludes the alternator service program. Join us again in this series, where you can learn more about automotive electrical maintenance procedures.